Hello everyone and welcome to this mod review with me, Frag. In today's video we're going to be looking through ReplayVille, which was the last entry in the Lambda Cup in 2018, run by RunThinkShootLive.com. We begin with an interesting entry, which is Die Another Day, created by Xbla. This entry sees you choose between 4 classes: Electronic Warfare, Sniper, Demolition and Assault. Each class has different weapons on offer, but only the Sniper takes a different route when it comes to actual gameplay. Once you've chosen your role, you begin in a Combine APC being transported to a facility. Once there, you have to get inside and shut down an energy source. Each role except the Sniper has slight variations of entering and progressing, but the gunfights are the same throughout. So, Die Another Day was an interesting concept, and did stick to the replayability factor. So for this, it gets an RTSL score of "It's great." Our next entry is Master Chef by Nomascoot, and I apologise but I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. But anyway, this sees you fade into a giant cooking pot, where you must advance up the levels to get items for a murky stew. Weapons are found in supply crates to the side, and ammo, health and power are plentiful. And so are the enemies. Although the idea is interesting, sadly the level design is quite lacking. As you go from one area to another, you can almost hear Ctrl+V being pressed. Plus, the items for the soup aren't very obvious, but you can amuse yourself by taking out everything that points a weapon at you. Yes, even the crowbar wielding rebels. So this seems to be one of those entries that may have had big ideas but just ran out of time. But it doesn't quite hit the replay factor that was needed in ReplayVille, so for this it's going to get a score of "It's bad." Next up we have Mind Collapse by Stephen Cabbage, and it sees us teaming up with our old buddy Barney as we attempt to storm a Combine stronghold. There's combat aplenty and 3 ways to complete this map. Each route offers an interesting experience, with one in my opinion topping the other 2. But they all have one goal: get into the stronghold to assassinate the handsome devil himself, Dr. Breen. So this entry uses a more traditional Half-Life 2 design, but with giving 3 different ways to achieve our goal, we hit the theme of replayability on the head. So for that, it's going to get a score of "It's wow" from me. Uprising by Lord DZ finds us in City 14, taking the role of a civilian who's probably feeling the oppression of the Combine. This entry starts off with what I assume to be a catalyst for the Uprising event. You and your civilian friends are living on the breadline and trying to survive until some up-to-no-good Combine decide to beat you up after one of your group lunges at them with a pipe. During the next scene, you take part in a fight against the Combine with your rebel friends at your side. An interesting note here is when you start you have a name, and if you are gunned down in your line of duty, you assume the role of another rebel. A really nice touch to add to the experience overall. So, once you've cleared the Combine from outside, it's time to head on inside, stock up and get ready for the Combine assault on the building, while you wait for the helicopter to take you away to safety. You deal with a nice range of enemies in this map, and taking on another rebel's life is a nice touch, but the only time I'll fancy a replay is to unload on the Combine, so for that it's going to get a score of "It's great." Aqua Drainage by Scorley sees you teaming up with your favourite pal, the Gnome, to navigate around the map to hopefully set him free. This is, in all fairness, a pretty standard experience, but it's done well. There are different avenues for you to take, and you could ditch the gnome altogether if you get sick of his stupid face judging you over every single choice you make in your journey throughout this map. With multiple enemy types, scenarios, branching avenues around the map, and a couple ways to complete your goal, with a decent environment to boot I may add, you'll be trekking through Aqua Drainage a few times to get that 100% completion. So for this, I'm giving this entry an "It's wow." Welcome to our next entry, which is Divergence by 1UpD, a curious entry that sees you jumping between, realities? Planes of existence? In any case, this entry puts us in episode 3 territory, as we see the Borealis noping in and out of existence, and oh, who's this? We also see the use of the RTSL Mertz module, but only for some really limited use. Although this feels like a fun one-shot adventure, the enemies feel quite repetitive, and the layout can make you confused at times, which makes replaying this seem a little daunting, so it's getting "It's good" from me. Postmortem by Matt71490 aka Event Horizon presents an interesting entry that has a heavy story-driven narrative, along with a dark and sad atmosphere. The interactive segments make this film noir feeling entry feel almost like it's its own mod, but as you progress further you find different avenues to take and enemies to fight. Although I did enjoy this map, It did have frame rate issues at times, and some of the transitions between areas were quite jarring, but it does allow you to seek out another path, and so on that note it's getting a score of "It's great." Way Through the Woods by Rocky B sees Gordon help rebels and citizens escape by train. You're presented with multiple paths to get to the end, each offering a different challenge. Although a well-crafted map, you'll find some dead ends along the way, and the rebels have a habit of getting stuck, or just decide to stay put, but frankly that could be the ancient AI still wondering what year it is. The final battle is quite lackluster, but overall coming back to see how many rebels you can take through the various paths means it hits the replay factor, so it gets the "It's great" mark of approval. Dungeon by JMP places us in a Too Many Crates parallel universe where we have to collect gold bars instead, but instead of fearing crates, you're fearing being found and killed by a deranged antlion beast. The map is simplistic in design, but each gold bar hides in the most hard to reach places. You also need to track down those elusive car batteries to complete puzzles to unlock more gold bar locations. Altogether, it's not a bad entry, and JMP has focused more on the game mechanic replay value than the map design avenue. I was on the fence a lot with this one, but in the end, it gets a solid score of "It's good." So that's it for this video. Give ReplayVille a go for yourself, and let me know your thoughts. How would you score these entries? Let me know down below, and I'll see you all next time.